right, bet.
Good. All right.
Yep.
All right, here we go.
Hold on.
Gentlemen's
All
Guide.
right, we're good.
Yo, what's good? It's your boy B Barnes. This is the Gentleman's Guide podcast where we seek to unpack manhood one day at a time. I'm your host, one of your hosts, B Barnes.
It was happening, man. Steady, man. Steady.
Hey man. I didn't tell you this until I ain't gonna tell you. This is basically a surprise for you, bro, but I want to make it official, bro. I feel like me and you have developed a rapport on the mic, on the pod, man. So I'm like, I really want to make you an official host of the show, bro. What you think about that, man?
Appreciate it, man.
What you think, bro?
Man, that's dope. That's dope. Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it.
Man.
I love it, man. I know we've been, we've been trying to get things settled, man. But the setup that we got right now, man, I fucking love it. But I'm astounded to hear that you want me to bring me on like as an official host, man. That's dope, man.
Yeah.
I appreciate the love, man.
Yeah, man, for sure, bro, for sure. And it's all love, man. And I texted you a while back, and maybe it was a few days ago, and I was like, man, maybe, because I was thinking, I had all these thoughts in my head of like, making it official in terms of like not just me. So I was like, man, maybe I should change the name and try to rebrand. And you was like, bro, keep it the Gentleman's Guide. That's where we coming from. We black men in America. We coming from the male perspective. We young gentlemen trying to guide each other, but help other brothers out there trying to figure it out too. You know what I'm saying? So that's
absolutely, man.
I
appreciate it, bro. Let's do it, man. That's dope.
Yeah. So what's on the docket today, man? What we got?
Oh man. First and foremost, we got a couple of hot takes, man. But before we do any hot takes, man, I've reached out to you. No, somebody reached out to me. Shout out to Rashonda from undergrad, North Carolina Wesleyan College, man. The topic that we're going to discuss is kind of the topic that I had already discussed with her, but it was such a profound subject. I wanted the world to hear it. So basically, she reached out to me, said she got some younger cousins that she wanted to talk to, some younger male cousins that are hitting that age, that are getting ready to go to college, and yeah, man, and she wanted a male perspective on that. But before we get into that, man, we do have a guest. We do have a guest speaker, man. If it's okay with you, you want to go ahead and bring him in.
Hey, let's bring him in. Let's bring him in.
Yeah. So everybody, what we're gonna do? The guy that we're bringing in, man, is profound with the pen. His penmanship is phenomenal, man. One of the guys that I've always, admired, how he carried himself, how he just moved about life. One of the most selfless people I know, man. Just so happened to be my business partner on Artisan side, man.
Facts.
The chief editor, James Randolph, Cool J. A lot of people know him by many different names, but man. You want to go ahead and bring him in?
Here he come, Mr. James Randolph. Yeah. What's going on, bro?
Mike. Testing, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we in here live in effect, baby.
What's going on, fellas?
The legend, man, himself,
Cool
penmanship is on. The penmanship is on a, hey, I just heard Shaq's verse on the new joint with him and Meek Mill, Rick Ross. So I think you ghost wrote that for him, man. Because your penmanship is just out of this world, man. Chief editor, founder, CEO of Artisan, man. We're astounded to have you. We got a good topic today, man. You and I already talked about it a little bit with Rashonda, but it was such a great conversation, man. I was like, yo, when I was texting Brandon today, but I was like, yo, I think Cool J would be a dope person because we already had this and your points was on point. So
yeah,
I appreciate y'all, man. It's always bro. Brandon, man, I appreciate y'all bringing me on, man. I'm a fan, so I'm just here in the spirit of fellowshipping and bonding and seeing what y'all got going on. So appreciate y'all bringing me on, man.
That's what it is, man. That's what it's all about, bro. That's what it's all about. Now, hey, before we get too deep, bro, we gotta hit the little hot take. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. Okay, talk to me.
So we got a hot take for. So go ahead, man.
So man, look, it's been 3 years, and everybody listening and watching out there, you probably gonna be like, man, what this man talking about? It's been 3 years since my hairline was intact. It's been 3 years, cuz. Look, it's been 3 years, bro. I saw I've been seeing the commercials, bro. I've been seeing the commercials. The Hims commercial. Y'all know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Yep. Look, but see, clearly, Brother James, he don't know what he ain't part of that brotherhood. He ain't in there yet. Hairline intact. Bassetti, yours a little receded, but it's still full. It's still there.
No, man. No.
You know what I'm saying?
I can grow mine. I can grow mine out a little bit.
No, it's back there, but it's there. That's what I'm saying. My point is, mine is non-existent, my boy. That's all.
It's always been like that. From
True.
the braids days.
That's true. Man, so I guess I just wanted to throw that out there, like in terms of seeking treatments. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I've seen so many different, and we kind of touched on this a while back, Seti, with we were talking about like cosmetic stuff and like what do you think about men doing certain things and with the hair. To me, in my opinion, a lot of this stuff is way over the top in terms of like the hair pieces. I would never do that. This is my only option. It's either this or I'm just gonna stay bald, bro. Like I'm just trying it out because I saw the.
So is it a peel or a cream or what is it?
Bro, it's just a spray. It's a spray. It's some type of whatever concoction they don't cooked up in the lab somewhere.
Probably got tea tree oil or some type of oil.
Some type of castor oil or something. I don't know. Yeah,
castor oil.
Yeah.
Look, listen. If it comes back, do your thing.
Hey, I'm in there regardless because I'm a handsome brother. I like to think I'm a handsome brother. You know what I'm saying? So like I'm in there regardless. I'm married, but if I were single, ladies like bald heads anyway. They like, you know what I'm saying? So it's like I'm good either way.
I wouldn't know nothing about that, man.
What you think about that, James?
Oh man, to be honest with you, man, that's not even. I just feel like I'll put it like this: if something is bothering you to the extent that you feel like you want to get some supplements to be healthier, if you want to spray your hairline on just to feel more confident when you're walking in a room, whatever the case may be, I say go for it.
Fact.
On the flip side of that, if you are somebody that's in my circle that I'm close to, I would challenge you a little bit.
Sure.
And I'm gonna say, what's really behind it? You know what I mean? What are you trying to actually accomplish? Let's talk about that first. And then the aesthetic part, we can get to that later. But if it's really, I don't feel confident walking in the room and I feel like I'm trying to get married right now.
Okay.
All right, let's have that conversation.
Okay.
Or if it's,
I can see that.
I feel like I'm losing my hair. I feel like I'm losing a step. People looking at me sideways, these young dudes feeling it. All right, let's address that. And then we can address the aesthetic. So I say salute you. Do what works for you, but at the same time, if you was in my circle, I'm looking at you like, what's the root? What's behind that?
Yeah. If there is something that you need to address, that. That's essentially what you're saying.
Yeah.
I got you. Well, at least from my perspective, I'm just very curious, bro. I'm very curious because I held on for quite some time. I used to cut my own hair. Said, I used to cut my own hair, and I got tired of playing hairline doctor, bro. Like I got tired of it. You know what I'm saying? Now I never did like the Carlos Booz. I never did nothing like that. That's kind of far into the spectrum. You know what I'm saying? But I had the little hair fibers, and I was kind of like feeling to make it look natural. But over time, I'm like, bro, this is too much work, bro. I could just like go bald. And it's funny because back in the day when I played football, back in high school and college, during the summertime, I would cut my hair bald anyway. You know what I'm saying? Because it was just when you going through training camp and all this stuff, and you sweating nonstop all day, it's just easier to just cut it off. You know what I'm saying? So even when I went bald, people had already seen me bald before anyway. You know what I'm saying? So it wasn't really a big deal. So in terms of like, I know you were speaking at more like the general. I'm confident either way. I'm just very curious. When you see the before and after,
you want to see if it works.
Bro, yes.
You want to see if it works. Okay.
When you see the before and afters, bro, I'm like, I said, look at this. And dude was worse than I would. Like when I said it was like all gone, I was like, yo, I said, mine ain't even half that bad. I said, maybe I should try it out. And it's not like you ain't spinning the arm and the leg. I was like, I'm gonna try it out. So I'm gonna give it like 3 to 6 months and see what happens. If it don't, hey, I got the razor upstairs. I'm good.
Yeah. I was gonna say, y'all seen the boys flying to Turkey? It's supposed to be some procedure in Turkey where they getting implants. They're getting
the hair transplants. I have seen that. I don't know if I would do that. I mean, it does seem like it works. like the results, like when you fast forward after the initial surgery or whatever, the results actually seem that's like the most natural looking solution that I've seen. You know, aside from like the micropigmentation when they do the little light tattooing of the hairline. You know what I'm talking about?
Nah,
you never seen that?
Oh, bro, you been on?
That's not in y'all algorithm. You don't know nothing about that. Look, that's not your algorithm. You ain't.
Nah, I ain't seen that one, bro.
No, you seen my man Kenny Smith. That's what he got. The micropigmentation. It's like he bald, but you see it's like a shadow line. Right? Yeah, it's like a shadow line. You know what I'm saying? Like even though he's bald, it's like a shadow line. Like you see the hairline, but it's, you know what I'm saying? It is not really hair, so to speak. But I wouldn't even go that far either, because I like either plain bald head or, you know what I'm saying, the real deal. So that's where I'm at with it, man. That's why I just wanted to see what y'all thought about that, you know.
Hey man, listen, whatever you feel comfortable with, man. Let me know. Hey, take weekly picks.
I took one last night. I was like,
so first application.
I've been doing it for like 3 days now. So
okay,
I have felt a little tingliness up here. You know what I'm saying? I said, yeah, hey, maybe it's working. Maybe it's activating some hair follicles. You know what I'm saying? And it's crazy because my dad got a full head of hair, bro. They say it come from your mom's side, but my dad got a full head of hair. And
my dad been cutting his hair bald. Like he's always cut his hair bald.
Yeah, I do. I remember.
So he's never really had. He's always had like, what is it? The number 1. The number 0.
Like
very
light. Yeah.
Yeah, very light. Or he just like now he just cuts it bald.
True.
So I ain't there yet.
Man, I got great uncles. I got great uncles with full heads of hair, bro. Like all of my grandma's brothers got full heads of hair. So it's like. It's just, I think it came from my mom's side. That's what it was.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Second. Before we get into the main topic, though, I do want to bring something. You know, second hot take, real quick, just to understand. I don't know what this is right here. Did y'all just see that?
Nah.
Oh, something popped up on the screen. But anyway, second hot take that I want to, really discuss, and is really about this world that we live in. Michael Jordan's son.
Oh, and he with Pippen ex-wife.
Pippen's wife. Yeah. Pippen's ex-wife.
That's a wild story, bro. It don't even seem real.
Even wilder. Yeah. It gets even wilder. So, just recently, it just came about that I guess marriage is in talks between the two. And my man said he would want Michael to be his best man.
Bro. What in the polyamory is going on here, bro? Like what?
Oh, boy.
It's like kind of like incest in my mind. Like this is like your auntie. Like y'all
Facts.
I mean, of course she's been around since he was smaller.
That's what I'm saying. It's like that's your aunt. Like
so, the fact that you do what you want to do. You having fun with it. Cool. That's what I took it as at first. You having fun with it. Now it's talks of like marriage, and it's like you want now. Okay, all right.
Yeah, son, it's one thing to hit it. It's one thing to hit it, but you trying to commit to this, bro? Like that's a different story.
Like, won't she just with Future before?
I haven't even followed.
Yeah. She was because that came out because Future done made a couple lyrics about it.
Okay.
Future,
he talked about it.
Real toxic.
Because I haven't even looked at like she must be bad. Then if Future messing with her, I don't know. That's just my assumption, but I really don't know.
Hey man, you know Future, man. Hey.
Pluto.
Yeah.
Pluto. Pluto.
That's a wild story. Man, I don't even know what to think about that, bro. That's just I don't know. Love, like you said, love who you want to love.
If it was me, this is my take on it. Like I can't condone it, Like, hey, it's even I don't know if she of course she was there around when you were smaller, a baby. She maybe even babysat you. I think she did. Matter of fact, I think she did babysit.
At some point she had
the
to.
kids.
Yeah.
So now my question is like,
what was y'all doing when you was younger?
Yeah, like now
it's kind of sketchy to me.
That comes
because think about this: if it were flipped,
if it was flipped, the world would be
all
in
down.
shambles.
Yeah, bro. Like if it were flipped, if it was a man, a older man and a younger, bruh, ain't no whoever that man would be getting killed on social media at least.
Absolutely.
You know.
So yeah, man, that's that. I if it was my son, like come on, son, like hey, it's a million women around here,
bro.
You know what I'm saying? But I also got to question. I also got to question her too.
Yes, for sure.
As I got to question her, like yo, what's your motive? All right, cool. Like you just said earlier, you know what I'm saying? If you do what you do, like my son is attractive, you know, he's an attractive young man, whatever. You want to test the waters, you're single, you feeling promiscuous, whatever.
Yeah.
Like you test the waters, you have fun for a short bit of time. Now it's getting to the point where it's being serious. You know what I'm saying? Y'all being seen out together, y'all at games together. You're making a spectacle.
It's super weird, bro.
Of this.
And that's like, not even like I don't know. I don't want to come off as like a judgy person, but that's just I don't know. I'm trying to put myself in that position.
That's your dad's teammate's ex-wife.
Bro, that's your auntie, bro. That's how I'm looking at it.
Yeah,
so it's like,
man,
that is weird. And your daddy is a billionaire, bro. It's plenty of women out here that you could find that just want to. Why would you choose this person over here?
Why? Yeah. I can't. Like if it.
So I'll piggyback on what both of y'all just said. So Seti, you were just saying, what's your motive? Brandon just said, I don't want to be judgmental, right? But if we're looking at just giving our opinion, this ain't no, it's not a diss to them. But the first thing I would question is why we haven't seen really either one of you in the news for nobody wrote a book, nobody's selling any. So why are you all in the news or on social media talking about this like it doesn't feel like obviously you have some genuine connection and you're just about to go get married. Because if that was the case, more than likely you would handle it behind closed doors. You would have those hard conversations with Pops, Uncle Scotty, and we wouldn't hear anything about it. But the fact that it's, oh yeah, I'm with, and then, oh yeah, I love him so much, and yeah, we were gonna ask Michael to be. It doesn't feel like this is, at least in my mind, what I think marriage is, which is you actually finding a life partner and trying to do something together. This feels like a publicity stunt, just in my opinion. But God bless, man. I want the best for everybody. But yeah, to me, it doesn't even sound like this is, anything real. This sounds like,
it doesn't seem authentic for sure.
Yeah.
Some Hollywood type of I feel
yeah, super weird. So that's I guess that's what you got. Anything else on that, Seti?
That's it, man. Man. That's it. I'm kind of excited about this main topic though.
For sure.
Just like like I was saying earlier, Rashonda came to me probably like 3 or 4 weeks ago, just saying, hey, you got any advice for your younger self? So if you could tell your younger self anything, what would you tell yourself?
Mm-hmm.
And she took that information and related to her nephews, which were I think 18 or 19 years old. She was 2 of them. One was in college, one was about to start college, and really just wanted to prepare them for what to come from a Black man's perspective that's already been there, already seen some things.
Yeah.
So Brandon, I just started off with you. If you could tell your younger self anything, what would you tell yourself?
One thing that I've learned in my 33 years of living is embrace change, man. I was the person that anytime any inkling, any snippet of change, major change was happening in my life, I would like resist, just naturally resist, because from a personality standpoint, I'm like very routine in certain things. Even in my 9 to 5, when I do certain things, this triggers this thing, this triggers this, and it's like an automatic thing. So like when something changes, my brain, it takes time to process. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So I remember like just certain milestones, even not just in my life, but in my brother's lives. Our dynamic was changing. We were getting older, crossing over to different thresholds of life, so to speak. And it was scary, bro. But just from leaving home and going to college, embrace change, man. Like, because it opens the door for you to meet other people. You never know. I've seen so many times where he's like, yo, some of the best people that you meet are when you leave the house and go to put yourself out there. Even if you don't
Absolutely.
go to a 4-year university, you go to a community college, you go to a training program of any sort. The people that you meet in that journey to get to wherever y'all trying to go, those are going to be the people you really keep around for the rest of your life. You know what I'm saying? So I would say embrace change and don't be afraid. Don't be afraid of uncertainty. I think that's probably my biggest thing. You know, don't be afraid of uncertainty, man. You know. Yeah.
Okay.
And we'll go around and we'll all expound for sure. But just to get it started.
So first, y'all might want to go back, edit, chop that part. Don't give out no last names, especially if you can put it on YouTube. But my response, what advice would I give my younger self? Man, so much. But I think the biggest thing would be similar to Brandon, but probably it seems like it's opposite, but it's not. It's more of you don't have as much time as you think you do. I think one of the things that, at least for my parents and my village, people that were really good to me, one of the things that they said was, "You're young, you got time. You're young, you got time." And I think something happens to everybody when you hit 30, where you just like, wait, hold on. I thought I had another 30 years. And it's like,
that's essentially
not quite.
That's like 1/3 of your life, essentially.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think my biggest advice to my younger self is whatever it is that you find that, excites you, people call it your passion, whatever cliche, but even if it's not that, I would say just the things that you're going into, give your all to it, give your heart to it, leave no stone unturned, like really put yourself into things, because I think this idea of like, you're young, you got time. It's like, no, bro, you don't, you know what I mean? So if you're 14, 15 now and you got an opportunity to go learn an instrument, or you got an opportunity to go play football here, them opportunities are fleeting, man. So take advantage of it and put everything into it. If you ever on the fence and you feel like, I'll do that next year, or I'll wait 2 years to get back to this, or even people like, I'll, you know what I'm saying? Like, we'll see that on the back. Don't do that. Whatever it is if it's in front of you, as painful as it may be, as annoying as it might be, as grueling as it might be, stick with it. Really try to push it as far as you can. And then, when it's out of your control, it's out of your control. But that would be my biggest advice to my younger self and to young people now. It's like, you don't have that much time. Like right now is the time.
Yeah. Oh man, that's dope too.
For sure.
Yeah. For me, man, it's so much that I would want to tell myself, man. And to any young, young man, a young woman out there. Wow. So it came easy to me when we was talking the conversation, had the conversation a couple of weeks ago. Had a few things that I wanted to write down, that I did write down, that I, talked about. But now that as I've been thinking on it over the last couple of weeks, I've just continued to like, oh man, I wish I could have told myself this. I wish I could have. Oh man, that's another thing. And before I knew it, I had a list of things, from a wisdom standpoint, that I would, now I'm writing that stuff down. Is like, oh snap. Instead of me talking about my younger self, these are things that I can be teaching Deuce.
Oh yeah,
that's kind of how I switched it.
Yeah.
And one of the biggest things is that was on that list that kind of kept coming up repetitively, but in different forms as I wrote it down was, listen to self. Listen to self. So many so many things that I did in my as a younger, transitioning from high school to freshman in college. And I'm not gonna say I was persuaded, but I kind of listened to the noise on the outside, and that noise kind of, oh man, I shouldn't do this, because that noise is like that the white sound, that white sound in the, when you in, I think that's what it's called, right? White sound,
white noise or
You
whatever.
know,
Yeah.
white noise. Yeah, yeah. There's like that white noise that you hear it, it's there, but you don't know where it's coming from.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it was kind of like that pressure, especially Brandon coming from the school that we came from, and we having this, from I'm more so talking from an athletic perspective.
Yeah.
Listening to that noise, you know, oh, you're going to North Carolina Western College. What is that? And, people really didn't know what North Carolina Western College is.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you're supposed to be such a great athlete. You're at a D3 school, and the white noise like that.
Yeah.
Little did that you the what I now know is, hey, I got an opportunity to play football at another level.
Yeah. And that's
Past high school.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You
And
know that within itself is like a great
right.
an amazing accomplishment, because so many kids, playoff. Today is the first round of playoffs. So many kids' last game is going to be tonight. So many other kids' last game was last week when they didn't make it to the playoffs.
Yeah.
So what are they doing? Further, do they have an opportunity to play at the next level? If they don't, then
That's
your
it.
career, your football career is over.
Mm-hmm.
So that white noise for me, I should have cut it off, because it's like, I'm not gonna say I looked down on myself, but it was very, very, like, man, maybe they're right. Maybe I'm not as good as I say I am. Now my confidence is, now I got to talk myself, out of that white noise, where to the point, like, I got into a couple situations because that white noise got to me
Because it got to
mentally.
you. Yeah. Thought it was
It got
testing your
to me.
manhood
So
in a way.
yeah,
Yeah.
like, I think you remember the situation, where it's like, yo, whoa, whoa, where somebody had to sit me down. I was like, yo, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing? Like, bro, you're going to college. Regardless of where you're going to college, you're going to college. Like, enjoy the ride.
Yeah.
Why are you worried about what this person is saying? What are they doing when they graduate? Come on. So that is probably one of the biggest self. Like, listen to self. Like, X all the white
Mm-hmm.
noise out. X all the other naysayers, and
Yeah.
the non-believers out, and bet on yourself.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably that. As I made that list out, of course I want to teach Deuce everything. I want to teach him, like, I want to give him the world right now.
Mm-hmm.
But he's only 8 months old now. I'm putting the pressure on him. So, as life progressed, like, that list that I gave, Rashonda, our friend, it's like, oh, okay. Now we had an amazing conversation. As Jay, Jay is just like, he's chiming in, and it was like so beautiful, so organic. It was
Mm-hmm.
amazing just to, go through the many different things that I've learned along the way from 18 to, right now. And to look back and say, man, I've learned a lot.
Yeah. One
Now
thing.
somebody's coming to me and asking me my advice on what I've learned, because they admire, where I'm at
Yeah.
and my opinion. And to me, that's super humbling.
Mm-hmm.
That's humbling, because who would have thought that somebody would, like, so me, 18-year-old me,
Yeah.
I would not be in this position. So that's another thing that I can, like, tell young self, like, stand on who you are as a man, but also, don't be afraid to voice your opinion. Don't be afraid
Oh yeah.
to do what's right. Don't be afraid of those things.
And you know what?
And
A lot those things you just mentioned, a lot of that starts at the home, man. It starts.
yeah, for
You
sure.
talking
for
about
sure.
Deuce, and obviously, he young. He got to learn how to walk first. You got to do all the
Yeah.
regular stuff before you get to these.
Got a little ways to go, man.
He got a little ways to go, But in terms of just general, like, helping, and I think we mentioned this on another episode, but just like trying to encourage them to speak up for themselves, advocate for yourself, critical thinking, like we talked about critical thinking at some point.
Mm-hmm.
But another thing I wanted to add to this conversation is, and this is something, because you bring in a sports piece, it's kind of impossible because it was a huge part of our life for so long.
Yeah.
But for me, one thing I learned, this is after college, going into the professional world, a lot of similarities in terms of competition. You know, you trying to get a promotion, da 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 da. One thing that I've learned is you are being evaluated even when you're not being evaluated.
Ooh.
And
speak on it.
Let
me give me a drink on that.
At its core, at the core of that, where that comes from is, you know, on a football team or on a basketball team or any team, if you trying to get playing time, you fighting for that position, and not just to because you got the talent. You there because you got the talent. You know what I'm saying? They saw enough in you to recruit you, to give you all this money for a scholarship or whatever, and you're there. But in terms of the competition and the grind, that was the portion that really wasn't. You could blame it on immaturity or a lot of different things. It's a lot of factors. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, a lot of white noise. Some people trying to build you up. Some people build you down, pull you down. But yeah, so
you're
man.
Saying you would tell your younger self
you're being
what exactly?
So I guess to make it more plain, you're being evaluated even when you're not being evaluated. So what I'm saying is, if you whatever you're doing, you got to make yourself stand out. You have to make yourself stand out. So I learned how to play this game when I got older. But I don't mean actual sport. I mean the game of life, or like you're always in competition. We're all in competition, and everybody's trying to figure it out. And that's the thing you got to realize too. Everybody, you see somebody who looks like they got it all together, they're just faking it, bro. We're all faking it to some degree. You know what I'm saying? Because we're all everybody trying to get paid, everybody trying to go on vacation, everybody trying to live a somewhat comfortable life. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, so like going back to the whole evaluation part, when you're fighting for a position, obviously they're evaluating you as a player, but they're also evaluating you as a person. You've seen so many people transfer to the corporate world or the professional world where some people may have certain. Go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, let's say just because you may have certain skills doesn't mean you're actually the right person for that position. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Sometimes people may come in with way less experience, but they may be the right person for that position. And I've never hired and fired anybody, but I've seen enough to know that that's how it goes. You know what I'm saying? So learning how to play that game. I know I can remember countless times as an athlete where I can hindsight where you was like, dang, that was a moment where they were challenging me to they knew I could be better, but I didn't see it. I don't know what it was, tunnel vision, like I said, immaturity, growing up, you got growing up to do whatever. But looking back, I'm like, dang, man, I missed out on some opportunities from a sports perspective, from a, you know what I'm saying? Because I didn't really see the bigger picture at the time. And I knew some guys who came behind me and they came in blazing. They excelled and they did their thing. And I, as a teammate, you push them on, yo, I'm happy for you. But you sitting back wondering like, yo, what happened? I came in, they wanted me, they recruited me here, boom, 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 boom. And transferring to adulthood, I see a lot of those similarities in the workplace. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I'm always not on the defense, but I can back up what I'm talking about. Or somebody has a question for me, I can, you know what I'm saying? Because you got to be, I've done my due diligence, and whenever somebody needs, for whatever reason, ask a question to me or has a question about my work over here or who I talk to over here, I can shoot off information just like that because one, I'm organized, but two, I'm always thinking about, as a black man, you're always in competition. You're always, and we're all in competition, but I'm thinking, how do I stand out? How do I stand out? Yeah. And not just as a black man, because obviously you put a black pepper next to a whole bunch of grains of salt, the black pepper gonna stand out. But in terms of how do they think about me in their minds? Like, oh, he's the one he's somebody I can depend on. You know what I'm saying?
Bro, where did you get that analogy from?
I don't know. It just came out my head. It's a better way of explaining that, but that's how it popped in my head. I don't know, but you understood what I was saying though.
I got you. I'm following you.
I got you. And look, I don't know if y'all had a plan for the conversation to go in a different direction.
Go ahead, bro.
The writer in me is just
no, bro.
And I actually, this is a genuine question that I just have. I would ask you all anyway, off camera. But let me set up the question first. So we just talked about what we would tell our younger selves. Brandon
Okay.
talked about not fearing change,
Mm-hmm.
like actually embracing it, moving forward.
Mm-hmm.
Seti, you just talked about white noise. You talked about, outside pressures, just perceptions, how that interferes with how you move. I talked about just making sure that you're embracing your opportunities because you don't know if you're going to get them again.
Right.
Yeah.
Um, all that being said, I had a conversation with my pops not too long ago, and he was working at a church, frustrated with some young guys who just seems like they don't want to work, right?
Can't get
And
right.
yeah, that's a whole different conversation. But
Yeah. Yeah.
this is why I want to ask you all as fathers, and Seti, I'll bring your boy in, and I'll bring a hopefully. I just went back. I was listening to the Carter Three. Don't ask me why. But on that song, Hove has a line where he says, "Young Carter, go further, go
Go
farther.
farther.
Is that not why we came? And if not,
Exactly.
Then
then
why
why
bother?
Why
bother?"
Yeah.
bother?
And I wonder if part of the reason is some of the young people aren't as excited about embracing opportunity. Part of the reason that they aren't as receptive to embracing change. Part of the reason that it's so easy for white noise to control them. I wonder, is that a symptom of us not telling them, as Brandon just said, bro, you're in a competition.
Mm-hmm.
This life thing is serious. And
Yeah.
I know we want to sort of, with our kids, everybody wants to do better for their kids than what was given to them. We
Facts.
kind of just
Yeah.
want to give them the world. But I do feel like we sort of have a younger generation that's like, they don't want to get up and embrace opportunity. They don't want to, they're not trying to go further.
You know
And
what?
so I wonder, for you all as parents, how do you feel about balancing? I want to give my children these things, but I also want them to know, yo, it's a war out here. I need you to be able to get up and go get it.
Yo, it's crazy because I just had this conversation. We had my 2-year-old Miles. We had a little birthday party for him last weekend, and had a few family members over. I was talking to my aunt, and my aunt and my father and all his siblings, they didn't grow up. They grew up. I mean, they tell you the saying was Popo ain't got no more. That was the saying. Like, yo, it was rough. You know what I'm saying? We had a lot of love.
Right.
They had a lot of love, but money was not part of that equation. So we were talking about we were talking about my cousin, her daughter, who she's a sophomore in high school now, plays out in Wilson. And, she's starting to get a little interest in terms of recruiting and, playing AAU and getting some attention. And we were talking about just the very thing you just mentioned, James, where a lot of these players that she's coming up against, they ain't got what she got in terms of the financial stability. You know what I'm saying? So that grit, that, fighting for a better chance at life, you can't duplicate that, bro. Like, it's hard to duplicate that when, I guess your question was, how do you find that balance of trying to get your kids to have that certain level of grit or go get it mentality, but still fight for better and like give them things that you didn't have. I'm still trying to figure that out, honestly. That's a hard puzzle to solve, honestly, because I don't resent my kids for having more than what me and my brothers had, because me and my wife are the sole reason why.
Yeah, that was the point. That's why you did it.
Exactly. It's like, I'm not about to apologize. Yeah, I'm not about to apologize for wanting better for my kids, But at the same time, it's like, I do see a difference. I put Brandon in a Wesley in 707 football. It was just this 2-hand tag. It wasn't flagged, and we playing Lewisburg and Frankenton, bro. And so you could just see, like, those kids reminded me of us, Seti. Like, it reminded me of us. Like, it's like, now natural athletic ability, like my kids may have some of that because of genetics and what have you, but in terms of that grit, that dog, that's how do you teach that, bro? Like, I don't know if y'all remember the story of Calvin, Snoop Dogg's son. He was a 4-star, 5-star, or 4-star wide receiver, had all the offers in the world, and then he got to USC and he just chose to not not. I was like, bro, imagine if he were coming from the gutter, he wouldn't have made that decision.
He wouldn't have made. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's like, so to me, I think constantly trying to figure out what their interests are and try to focus on what those interests are. How can I make this into something that you can go the distance with? You know what I'm saying?
I think for me, great. Jay, you always hit me with brain.
That's tough, man. It is. It's really tough.
Yeah, it's like this is why I love bouncing ideas off of, man. Shout out to my boy, man.
For sure,
because you challenged me mentally, on a lot of different levels, and it's beautiful, when when you have somebody in your corner that can do that to you. Lucky for me, I have so many people that can do that. And the two of you are, amongst those individuals.
That's so, it. Man, that's it right there. Look, what you would tell you, surround yourself with people who gonna challenge you. That's
challenge you.
That's a good. That's one.
That's one. But where I wanted to take that was, have y'all ever seen how Shaquille O'Neal is with his kids?
I've seen snippets of like him in different interviews talking about
just clips.
The money piece and all that, and
the money piece, the family, the dad aspect of it, and as well as what's the word I'm looking for? Pouring into their soul based upon who they are.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of just watching him, how he is with his kids. I know his one son is at UCLA. No, not UCLA.
Is it LSU?
USC.
USC.
No, he was at he was at USC, but he had the heart condition. I don't know if he's back this year or not.
I thought he was at LSU. Sharif, right? I could have sworn he was at LSU. Maybe he transferred. I don't know.
Shaq went to LSU. I don't know where his son went though.
Okay. I thought his son.
Okay. So
I'm gonna look at
UCLA. I'm sorry. You are right. UCLA. He was at UCLA. He had the heart condition. I don't know if he's back there. But one of the things that he always tell his son, his kids, even his daughter is really good. And he'll tell them, "Hey, you're O'Neal. You're an O'Neal. You're supposed to go out there and dominate, and you are gonna dominate.
Yeah.
You're gonna put this blood, sweat, and tears in this." And because of who your last name is, you're gonna get everybody's best.
Yep.
You're gonna get everybody's best. On the other side of it, when you was talking about the money aspect of it, he said, "Yes, I am rich. I am. You're not rich. You got to get out here. You got to earn this money just like I did. You want to."
That's the Cosby line.
Yeah.
Facts.
Said, we got money. You broke. You so many words. That's what he said.
So it really just pouring into them that work ethic.
Yeah.
I think a lot of kids, they don't know what it feels like to have work ethic because, our generation and the generation before, their grandparents came out of survival. Mm-hmm. And we talked about this.
We did.
The generation before us, they survived. That's all they knew how to do. Survive. Mm-hmm. So now that we're the first generation out of survival mode. So now we're trying to give all of our kids everything that we didn't have, which can be a good thing, also be a bad thing. But we sometimes forget, how to create that work ethic, how to create, hey, it's 6:00 in the morning on a Saturday. Why are you still in bed?
Because think about this.
You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying being militant with them, but I'm also telling you, hey, we got to have some type of work ethic. We just can't. You got to get out here and earn this. This roof that you got over your head. You're fortunate enough because just like Eric Thomas, the preacher said, it's kids in this third world country that are killed for the opportunity that you have. So what are you going to do for this opportunity that you've been, fortunate enough to be born into? Listen, it ain't gonna last forever.
Look, I'm gonna tell you this right here. My kids are their upbringing is so dramatically different from what ours was.
Yeah.
So one day, I can't remember. I think I was joking because I've never used a belt on my kids ever. I don't never see a need to use a belt. But I joked. I was like, I had a flashback. I was like, boy, I said, you better stop playing if I take my belt off. And then Wesley was like, he thought it was a joke. He was like, I said, y'all have no. I said, you don't even know what a switch is, do you? I said, you don't know what a switch is. You never been hit with a belt. I said,
Hey,
y'all.
like it ain't. Hey, the switch ain't what these young. The switch is different from what these young cats
Yeah, they
Bruh.
call a
talking about
switch.
a different
You got to
switch.
be
Yeah.
specific. You got
Yeah.
to be talking about
Well, that's what I'm
very
saying.
specific when you say switch.
He's like, ha, daddy,
Because a switch to these
you're
young
funny.
kids. Now I'm not talking about yours. I'm just talking
Uh-huh.
about a switch to these young kids. That switch that they put on that, to make that thing go. Brrr.
No, look, my kids, when they hear Switch, they think about the Nintendo Switch. That's what they think about.
Yeah, or the
Yeah.
Nintendo Switch, or the Nintendo
Game
Switch.
console. Yep.
Yeah, that's what they think about.
Yeah. That's one of them too.
Mm-hmm.
That's a Switch too.
Yeah, yeah. But it's just
But
crazy, man. Go ahead.
But to our generation, that Switch, hey man, go out there and get that Switch out there. Go ahead and pick your own Switch.
Yeah.
And you don't get, because if you
The
get
trauma,
a bad Switch,
the trauma behind.
You going back?
oh my goodness,
The trauma behind.
Yeah.
I'm picking my own,
my
own punishment
Switches.
level of punishment.
How do you go out there and pick your own Switch that you're gonna get whooped because you did something bad? Like, I'm scared to go out there because, one, I'm scared to get the wrong Switch, because if I get the wrong Switch, they gonna go out there and get one 10 times worse than what I picked. I'm scared to get a good Switch because now I'm setting myself up for failure.
Right.
So what do I do?
One time I ran out the house. I ran out the house away from my dad. I was probably 6 or 7, and people say how I got so fast. Bro, I was running away from getting whoopings. That's why I was so fast.
Yeah. Oh man. So another thing, go back to the general conversation.
Yeah.
What would I tell my younger self? What would you tell your younger self about these next two topics? Love, three topics: love, finances, and therapy.
With love, I would say when you chase your passions, I feel like you're gonna be, when you put yourself out there. Let me rewind a little bit. When you chase your passions, you naturally put yourself out there. When you put yourself out there, you're gonna meet more people. When you meet more people, you increase the chances of you finding that person that you could possibly spend the rest of your life with. So what I'm saying is, people find themselves stuck in a rut, or it's like, yo, you're stuck here because you're not doing anything different. And I don't mean in terms of making money, but okay, like, if you like working out, go work out. You know what I'm saying? Or like, that's putting yourself out there too. Or if you like art, go find the next art exhibit and put your best suit on and put yourself out there. Or, you know what I'm saying? In terms of love, just looking for love. That's just my small 2 cents. I ain't no expert on none of that, but just generally speaking, if you don't put yourself out there, if you don't put yourself in the game, how you gonna get any reward? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's my initial thought on the love piece.
I think younger self, when it comes to love, I take a different route with it.
Sure.
I've been through a couple of things. So I think what I would tell younger self is, heartbreak is inevitable.
Mm-hmm.
Heartbreak is inevitable. And how to deal with heartbreak. Now, love can come in many different forms. Love can be love for, family, love for friends, intimate love.
Right.
And all levels across the board, heartbreak can happen. So how do you deal with heartbreak?
Mm-hmm.
Be prepared to, prepare younger self for that. For me, I dealt with, heartbreak of, losing my best friend at such a young age. I think I had no idea how to deal with that. Absolutely no idea. And how do you prepare, for something so traumatic? I also dealt with the heartbreak, in an intimate, standpoint. So how do you deal with that type of heartbreak? And also, dealing with, family and friends that, that let you down, what it essentially breaks your heart. Like, oh, wow. Like, so in all levels, like, how do you really prepare yourself? And I probably would tell myself is, when it happens, embrace it, because that's going to make a better you. Don't turn cold. Don't turn heartless. Don't turn
Learn.
in a sense, learn from
Learn
that,
from it.
learn,
Take that L and
learn from it,
learn. Yeah.
and really just, you know, grieve through it, grieve through it, you know, take that pain and utilize it, for something that can make you better,
Yeah.
but actually allow yourself to heal.
Man, you
I
took the
definitely
words right
would
out my mouth, bro. I was gonna
I
say,
definitely would tell my younger self that,
yeah.
when it comes to, love and heartbreak, but also on the positive side of it, because that was very, I ain't gonna say very negative, but that was like the negative side of it. But on the positive side of it, also embrace love, embrace, putting yourself, like you just said, putting yourself out there,
Mm-hmm.
allowing yourself to know what it is that you like and dislike. If this person, if you like these attributes about yourself, you know look for those same, I'm not going to say look for those same attributes, but look for things that bring you joy as well in somebody else, and
Right.
that somebody else brings you joy.
Mm-hmm.
I think so many times, even, we grew up in the start of social media era. So, we knew what it
We knew
like
what
to
life was
only
like
like,
before.
That's what I
yeah,
tell
we
people
knew
all the
what it's like
time.
before.
Our generation is the last generation to know what it is to live without the internet.
Right. So, for us, Facebook, you had to have a college email address
Yep.
to even get on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
So, you had to know these individuals, or get to know these individuals, and, being on campus, and hey, you know what it's like. Hey, do you know so and so? So, nah, I don't.
Yeah.
Okay, you got to get out. You got to get out. You got to get out your dorm room to meet these people. You know what I'm saying? So,
Yep.
just being very, being yourself, and allow people to love you, and be around people that love you for you.
Mm-hmm.
And with that, whether that's friendship, family, or intimate relationships, those relationships, that love is going to come genuine, and, really see people for their genuine self. That's
Yep.
definitely what I tell my younger self.
One thing I want to add to what you said allow yourself to heal. I was going to say allow yourself to feel, because grieving obviously it's a long process, right? Like it's not a overnight thing, but allow yourself to feel these emotions. And I think I got that from what's old lady Ian Van Zandt, because I just watched some of her episodes back in the day, and
Okay.
she would give you some good nuggets, just like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
general life things. And she said, especially with black men, she was like, yo, allow yourself to feel, because a lot of times we subconsciously were taught to suppress, and when you suppress,
Yeah.
it comes out. When it comes out, most time, 99% of the time, is going to be a blow up of some sort, or it's going to turn into some type of negative thing that hinders you from progressing or being a better version of yourself. So like giving yourself permission to feel, not just through grief, but just in general. You know what I'm saying? Like, be more in tune with your emotions, bro. That's not a feminine thing. That's a human thing. You know what I'm saying?
That's a human thing. Yeah.
It's not. You're not a man if you're attuned with your emotions. You know what I'm saying? Like, that ain't it, bro. That's not it.
Yeah.
So get that that whatever thing you think is that you got to feel like you got to be macho, or you got to be super masculine or bro. That thinking is toxic. Like, that thought process is toxic. People talk about toxic masculinity isn't toxic. Femininity isn't toxic. People are toxic. And how we interpret, how we internalize what we see, and then it comes out as toxic, because we're not processing. We're so caught up in what a man is, what a woman is. Like, yo, be a full human. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
I was gonna say my advice. So to touch on what you said, I want to preface this by saying I understand that people are living in a completely different generation now.
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So there are things that they're dealing with that we just, frankly, we didn't have to. It wasn't a part of what we were doing. Coming up, learning ourselves, being a teenager, having romantic interests, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So just the caveat, I'm just going to share my experience and what I wish I had known when I was younger, as opposed to actual advice. So this is not advice to anybody out there that's watching. This is just my own experience.
Disclaimer. Disclaimer.
Yeah, just disclaimer.
I was like, James, don't do this. Don't do that. Whatever.
Yeah. But not so. I would say the biggest thing, and I mean it's cliche, but it's just self-awareness. The biggest thing is just understanding your own personal motivations for pursuing relationships with people.
Mm-hmm.
Is this damn shorty is so bad outside and like, I just want to explore. I just want to know what
Mm-hmm.
that is, right?
Mm-hmm.
That is a very different motivation for getting in a relationship. And I guarantee it's going to yield a very different result than, I think I want to meet somebody and become their partner. Those are two very different motivations. And I think I would encourage my younger self looking back on it to not think of, God, this sounds so misogynistic and crazy now, but I would not look at people as conquest. And I think that,
okay, I got you.
Yeah.
like, there was a part of me, if I'm being honest, when I was younger, where it was like, it was more about the pursuit. It was more about the conquest than it was about the person on the other end, which is crazy to say out loud, like to be so far
Drop a
removed from
bomb
that
for that
mindset.
beat.
But
yeah,
you know what I mean? But yeah, so that's the first thing.
Wait, could y'all hear that? Could y'all hear that bomb or no?
Nah, I did.
Okay.
I did.
Well, it's in there. It's in there.
It's in there. Yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead, bro.
But, yeah, so that's the first part is just self-awareness, understand your motivations for getting in relationships. And then the other one is something I just been thinking of recently, and I've been trying to figure out a cool way to say it, but I guess it would be uh I guess figuring out like pride. Because I think there's there's two different sides of it. There's a good pride, and then there's like it's
touch on that.
But
oh man,
hey,
I don't know how to say it. There's like it's like false pride and true pride. Maybe that's a good way to say it. But like, I think there's a space that everybody goes through in romantic relationships where you feel like the other person doesn't fully see your worth, or you feel like this not even worth. And I think whenever that situation comes, I would just say to anybody is to A, have grace with yourself, B, have grace with your partner. And then again, just back to that self-awareness and that sense of pride. Like, is it really like, nah, man, this person don't deserve me, this stuff? Is it that, or is it, you're not showing up in the way that they need you to show up?
Gotcha.
And then vice versa.
That's an accountability piece.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Just the accountability. So is it, again, that false pride, or is it true pride? Is it, because sometimes you do need to protect yourself. Sometimes somebody isn't, who you want them to be or who you need them to be. And you got to say, hey, just to take care of me, take care of people around me and what I got going on, this can't go forward. And that's the true pride. But the false pride is, nah, man, okay, wait, slow down, look in the mirror. Let's have those honest conversations, because you might be the person lacking, but like you said, accountability and just understanding that. So I guess long way around, self-awareness, just make sure you having those tough conversations with yourself and figuring out what's your motivation for getting up every day and pursuing this other person.
For sure.
Yeah, that's dope there, bro.
I think the self-awareness piece, obviously it can come from within, but sometimes it takes somebody telling you about yourself.
Yeah.
How do you respond to that? How do you? I'm speaking from experience. You know what I'm saying?
A young me or me now?
I'm just saying in general. Like this is for the youngins, for the OGs, for the middle children. You know what I'm saying? It's for everybody.
I think young me, man, was such a hothead, and I'm gonna get around.
Yeah, you're right.
I'm gonna get around.
You're right.
And it's taking growth. So word your question. Word your question. How you want? All right, words of question.
So when
I'm gonna get into it.
All right, I'm gonna word it in the way that I think how you want to answer. I'm gonna word it in that way. So
yeah, okay.
Younger Mercedes, when somebody gave you genuine constructive criticism that may have struck something inside of you in terms of like your character or whatever. How did you respond? How would young Mercedes respond to
100% depending upon who it's coming from? 90% of the people that it was coming from, we fighting. Like,
all right, so So what? Pause real quick.
Boom.
No, you're right. I hear that. What I'm saying is I feel like it's as a black man in America. I don't know about other countries, but as a black man in America, when you find that person who is giving you genuine constructive criticism, it could be your significant other, it can be a family member, it can be a dear friend, you know what I'm saying, who's giving you real criticism, like really trying to help you look in the mirror and reevaluate, okay, is this the way to move? Should I change this behavior? Not some person that you ain't on that level with where they're coming at you and you like, man, nigga, get out of my face. I don't, you know what I'm saying?
So 90% of the people, I was very combative. I was very, very combative growing, as a young me.
Not you, sir.
One, I think it was because of the household we grew up in. It was very competitive in our household. 4 boys, only 1 woman in the house.
I know exactly how that feels.
5 males, 1 woman.
Yeah.
So that was one part of it. So that's where that competitive grit came from. That's why I was like the way I was on the field. But it was a time and place. And I,
to tone that down.
No. I'm not even gonna say it was a time and place. I know exactly when it was that it happened. That switch flipped.
Okay.
It was January 19th, 2005. That's when that switch flipped for me. Whereas like I didn't care what nobody said. I had a big rock on my shoulder. Like I had it was really just me against the world, against everybody. So that's kind of where like that more of a combative turned into like more of an aggression. And I was very aggressive about everything in which I did, and rightfully so. In a sense, because I was dealing with emotions that I didn't know how to deal with.
Yep.
I didn't know how to process those.
Yep.
Then transitioning into college, I still had that, and I'm even gonna say a chip. It was a boulder. It was a boulder on my shoulder. Going into that where that aggression now turned in like it intensified. But it was something that switch flipped again, and I think that was just growth.
What age was that?
Being around positive.
Can you recall what age? Range?
So 2005, I was 19. I was 19 when that, and when Mark passed away. So that's when that happened. So I finished my senior year. No, I was 18. In 2005. I graduated when I was 19. Went to college. So 19, 20, my freshman year. 20, age 20 and 21 is my sophomore year. So right around somewhere in my sophomore year, I really kind of started to like I started seeing the genuineness in people. I attested, Jay, for being one of those, positive individuals. No matter what, no matter what I was going on, I can always call. And Jay was just the same across the board, just like just really just genuinely checking up. I didn't understand how he moved because it was like, I'm trying to get in contact with this man. Where, I'm calling him for like 3, 4, 5. Like true story. I'm really, I call him and he doesn't answer the phone. I go to his dorm room. His door is open. His phone is on his bed. Who walks around campus without a phone? But he's just so in tune with self, in tune with himself that it's like, oh snap. Like when you step back and really view that person, it's like, bro, he was like, yo, you called me? Bro, don't even worry about it. Don't worry about it because like I'm mad or that you didn't pick up. It's just like, your positivity is just like, bro, let's just go get something to eat, bro. We go get something to eat. Like my problems kind of like his positivity allowed my problems to go away, and just being around that, it caused like a switch to flip. So right around 21, is when I say that happened, and just really just really understanding that it didn't heal it fully, but moving into post, I graduated college. I say right around the military post, when I went into the military, that's kind of when it started like clicking, really, just like positivity and like, oh, you ain't gotta do that, like that ain't it.
Hey,
And
it's
then
called leading by example, bro. That's what it is. It's called. Hey, some people come into your life and they ain't even got to tell you nothing, bro. They just come into your life and they just being themselves. Not even they ain't pressed about nothing. You know what I'm saying? So hey, shout out to those people, man. James was one of those people for Bassetti,
sure,
bro.
man. Yeah,
so, like,
for sure.
We all need those people in our lives, man. Just like I don't need nobody. Sometimes you're not ready to receive that criticism. You know what I'm saying? And that's no.
No.
You know what I'm saying? So like seeing an example, somebody who ain't got much to say out like directly to you about certain things, but they just out here moving the way they move, they living the way they live, and you like, huh? And he different.
So
you know what I'm
saying? Now when I get constructive criticism, I embrace it. Like, okay, so it's always like my thing is it's always room for improvement, no matter what.
Mm-hmm. Nobody's a finished product.
Where's the room for improvement?
Yeah.
Nobody. So I take constructive criticism very well. Sometimes do I want to hear it? No. But is it something? Is it coming from somebody that I can really, really like, learn something from?
Mm-hmm.
9 times out of 10, I don't have anybody around me I can't learn nothing from.
Mm-hmm.
I've weeded those individuals out of my life long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
So 9 times out of 10, I'm listening. And hey, all right, boom. You feel this way? All right, cool. All right, boom. All right, let's talk about it. I'm very communicative. Like, I'm sometimes like I'm gonna let you know how I feel.
Mm-hmm.
That's one thing I'm gonna do. I'm gonna let you know how I feel, especially if I care about you. Right. And for people to do the same thing for me is so like I love it. So for the individuals that is like, they can't find that, like, it's hard for me to like. How can I say this? For the individuals that sometimes say it's hard for me to express my emotions or express my feelings to people, I feel like I don't have a voice. Like, get therapy first. That's first and foremost.
Yeah.
That's first and foremost. Let's talk about why you can't express those feelings. Secondly, just surround yourself around people that can do that and show you how to do that and what that looks like.
Yeah, having emotional maturity, that's something. That's
that a lot.
That's a skill, man. It's something you gotta practice, actively practice. You can't just like all overnight know how to.
I'm constantly working on trying to figure out a better way how to be emotionally mature.
Yeah.
Go back to the original question. What would I tell younger self? And I know we circle back around, Brandon. When it comes to constructive criticism, but I would definitely want to ask you and Jay, what would y'all tell y'all self about constructive criticism as a younger you?
I think it was naturally triggering because I think when you're not mature, when you're not on a certain maturity level, you're gonna naturally be on a defense, because when somebody's telling you about yourself in any way, you ready to come back at them with some type of aggression, whether it be with words, whether it be with your hands. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I think. Wait, what was the question again? You said.
So what would you tell younger self about constructive criticism? How would you respond to?
Allow yourself to feel. It goes back to that what I mentioned before. Allow yourself to okay. Let me, instead of listening to respond, let me listen to let it, what this person said, process. Let me sit before I say something, because sometimes you don't need to say nothing. It is the age old cliche thing. Yeah, that's why you got 2 ears and 1 mouth, because you need to listen more than you talk. But it's true. It's true. Like, when somebody's telling you something, sometimes you don't need to say anything. Let it sit, process. Maybe you need to go for a walk, take a nap, let it marinate overnight. wake up in the morning with a refreshed mind, you know what I'm saying? And you sitting and you kind of pondering on it. You're thinking about it. And then, you know, the Bible say pray without ceasing. But when somebody tells you something, to me, that's a form of prayer, because you're trying to find the root. Like, what is that? Let's dig deeper, you know? So it's like, I think you need to just shut up and listen.
Okay.
I would say, and I know we got to touch on the other two. We got to touch on the finances and therapy, but on constructive criticism, I'll bring up another whole verse. That's one of my favorites. Everybody can tell you, as for the critics, what do you say? Everybody can tell you how to do it. They never did it. I feel like younger me was very much in the space of like, if you're not a trillionaire, if you're not, so if you're not, this or that, then it's like, why are you telling me what I should be doing? Like I had that sort of energy when people came to me.
Yeah.
And, as I got older and I started to see how everything in life is so interconnected, I would just say to young people, you can learn, the old saying, coaches will tell you that there's no lessons in victory, there's 1,000 in defeat. Right. You can learn so much from people who didn't do what you're trying to do, but they tried.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so a lot of times when people, because to be honest, everybody's time crunch, like Brandon said earlier, everybody got their families, they trying to figure out their own lives. So if somebody sits down and they're coming to you and they're saying, hey, yo, I think you could do X, Y, and Z a little bit different, and that might work for you. Somebody taking the time to do that means that either they see something in you, they wish better for your life for some reason. Maybe they see it coming out. There's no reason that people are going to sit down and try to point out your flaws and point you in a better direction other than they want something better for you.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, it might not always be the best advice. But just, I would say, take it in with the thought of, oh, shoot, somebody cared enough to take time out of their day. Let me sit with this. And it might not be exactly what you need at the time, but just acknowledge that, oh, okay, cool. Maybe this is something that I could apply and I can use and I can learn from. So
yeah,
that would be what I would say to that.
Hey, man. Well, we got it was another thing we want to touch on, right? Or was that
finances and therapy?
Okay. So therapy, I mean, personally, I have not. I know, but City, you've actually been to therapy, right?
Yep.
James, you actually been to therapy before? Or?
No, I've done counseling, but I've never done like actual professional therapy.
Okay, yeah, me neither. So I mean, I really can't speak. I mean, I know it's great. Like Gab, she's a licensed therapist and everything, you know. So I know it's a tool that's out there for people that need to find ways to process whatever they going through, you know. So I mean, but Zeddy, you could probably touch more on it than I can, but.
Oh man, younger self, man. I definitely tell younger self, man, go to therapy, man. At 18, you know, in 2005, I never knew what therapy was. My idea of therapy was the guidance counselor at school.
Yeah.
And that's just me being honest, because, you know, we're coming from the environment that we came from. We didn't know what therapy was. Had literally no idea.
Yeah. I thought it was something you just saw in the movie, somebody sitting on the couch. That was my reference.
Yeah.
You know.
Go. Yeah.
They leaning back.
Facts. Had no idea that you could. I thought it was only for rich people.
Yeah,
literally thought it was only for rich people. Had no idea that you can use insurance for it. Had no idea that I could use it in the military.
That's recent too. Yeah. By the way, that's recent. That's recent, bro.
Had no idea. It wasn't until I actually dated a mental health therapist, where it really was kind of like, oh snap, this is what therapy is. And it's kind of like, oh, okay, this is different. Like the actual thought of getting my thoughts out, like process that you're thinking about getting your thoughts out, and it's like you feel relieved. That's kind of where I was at, and for you, it's kind of, you know, like, you know, take you and Gab's situation. You say you've never been to therapy, but the conversations that you and Gab have, very genuine, what's the word I'm looking for?
Cathartic.
Yeah, yes. And no, you've never been to therapy, but you've had therapy sessions with your wife.
Yeah. And I
In
mean,
a sense.
in a sense, yeah.
Because
yeah.
Yeah, in a sense, because that's what she does for a living.
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't until that is where I was like, oh wow, like this is thing. Then I started like getting like professional, like not saying that wasn't professional. Then I started getting like, hey, this is something that I want to do on a regular basis with someone, so setting up sessions and very strategic and very therapeutic. I don't know if I can use the description of therapy with therapeutic, but very one with self.
Yeah.
One with self and understanding why I think the way I think, understanding that, hey, you've dealt with something extremely traumatic that a lot of people don't deal well, but you have to pat yourself on the back to say that not only did you deal with this at a very young age, you went through a time period that you were able to get yourself out of it, make the best of it, and graduate college and start a career, all while dealing with all this turmoil. So
give yourself some credit, man. Give yourself
some credit.
Yeah.
And realizing, wow, like
in spite of
I did that.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I really like did that, and no matter how angry I was, therapy helped me realize, like, wow, like this isn't normal. Like this isn't normal. This isn't a normal childhood. But two, you can make it out of situations, and just being able to like see that and feel that and hear that and go through it. Therapy just allowed me to just really come in tune with with self and love all the all the bad. I'm not gonna say bad, but love all of the flaws that I've gone through. Love all of the trials and tribulations that I've gone through, and make good on those, and really heal from it, and allow me to heal, allow me to help others heal as well.
Yeah, that's good, man.
So
that's good.
younger me would definitely done my research on therapy, if somebody would have said something, but
yeah, and I will say, just from a practical standpoint, like I know this because I hear Gab talk about it all the time, but just because you find one therapist doesn't mean you got to stick with that therapist. It's all about finding a good fit.
Oh yeah.
It's all about do y'all mesh well together?
Do y'all mesh well together?
Is it a good fit? That's what Gab. That's how she explains it. It's like it may not be a good fit for the therapist, and they may refer you to somebody else.
Hey, I'm looking for a therapist to take my insurance right now. Anytime if y'all take my insurance, I need a new therapist. Not saying nothing is wrong with my old therapist. My old therapist was great. She just don't take my insurance.
Hey, she got tired of processing. That was she got tired of processing the paperwork.
Yeah, that's what that was. She's like, nah, cut that off.
She don't take my insurance. So any therapists out there, y'all look for new patients, man. Look, new clients. Hey, I'm looking for a new therapist. Let's make something happen.
Let's do it then. Let's do it.
But yeah.
And I'll just touch on something really quick, just to sort of put them together. But I do think they go together. Just finances and therapy. I would say it's just all a part of being the best version of you. Creating a healthy version of you. We get checkup, we get physicals for our body. We, if you're an athlete, you got your trainer. You got to figure out what's going on with this muscle. You got to figure out what's going on with this, that. It's the same thing with your mind, and I think that's why therapy is so important. That's the supercomputer that drives everything, and it doesn't make sense to check up on everything else and not the central computer that's driving it. That makes absolutely no sense.
Yeah,
so,
that's facts.
100%. Therapy, find it, use it. It's another tool to create the best version of yourself. And the same thing with finances. I would say that the biggest advice I would give anybody is to go learn. I was listening to a podcast with Gary Vee, and he was talking about his family owned a wine business. And so he didn't know anything about wine, but he he had to learn it. He had to go figure it out in order to run this store that was his family business that he inherited. I was listening to a podcast with T.I. He was talking about before he even got signed, he read a book about ownership and publishing and what you should look for in splits and this, and that. So before he even entered the building with music execs, he was already reading, already figuring out, okay, how do I navigate this world? So for your finances, whatever it is, if you are starting a business, if you're going into a 9 to 5 and they start throwing around at you 401k and what is it's a lot of stuff that we just didn't even know about.
Listen, it was a learning curve for sure.
For sure. So it's like I would say 100% read as much as you can. You're in the information super age. There's nothing that you can't find right now on Google or TikTok or wherever, like
YouTube.
Like, go get that information and use it. Everything's not going to be applicable for you and your situation, but it's there. And so don't take that for granted. I always tell people, don't be the person that shows up to a job and you have no knowledge. Like you had an entire night before, the same way you be on TikTok scrolling and looking up cat videos or whatever it is that you be looking up.
Haircutting videos, grass cutting.
Figure out something about that job. Figure out something about, if you want to be you want to do hair or if you want to start a real estate business, whatever it is, go find that information first and educate yourself as much as you can. And then the second part of that is find yourself a mentor. We're just in an age now where anything that you can think to do, I promise it's already been done. So go find those people that have already done it. Bug them. I love the story. Kobe Bryant to Michael Jordan, he's hitting them at 3:00 in the morning, like, hey, Mike, how you do? And Mike's like, little bro, get off my line. But at the same time, like that's what you should be doing if you want to accept be great in that avenue.
From just to kind of sum it up, or at least to kind of piggyback off what you just said, finding a mentor. And sometimes a mentor can be a lifelong guide, right? Like we all have versions of those in some way, shape, or form. But sometimes a mentor can be a couple conversations. If you just reach out to somebody and say, hey man, I see you doing this, this, and this, and this. I want to pick your brain. Let's go. Can we go grab some coffee or something? Or can I stop by the crib or stop by your office? I just want to talk just to kind of, see what your path was and how you moved this and this and this. And I actually did that. I was it was my first job out of college. And I was doing data entry. And the guy who was running the whole operation was a black dude. He's probably about my age now, then that I am now. But I had never seen, at that time, I was still new to the workforce, the professional life or whatever. Corporate America. Yeah. I was still new, still very wet behind the ears. I saw this black guy running stuff. I'm like, it was just something that was just unfamiliar to me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I said, hey man, I said, can we chop it up? I just want to talk to you, bro. And he appreciated that, and that led to like 2 promotions down the road. And then, not saying you're doing this to get promoted or whatever, but like if you're trying to advance in whatever you're doing, right? Like you said, 95.
You got a network,
or you got a network, or if you're an entrepreneur, or if you're both, or whatever. Like you have to. Again, it goes back to all of these different things that we've already mentioned. Putting yourself out there, following your passion, and embracing change. Like you have to. That's something you have to do. So I think this was a dope conversation, bro. I mean, I know we could probably go all night. I definitely want to add to that. Go ahead.
To young self when it came to finances, man. Like you said, man, we can talk about this all day, all night.
Yeah.
I think one of the most important things that I've learned about, of course, credit is, everybody know, no credit.
For sure.
Everybody doesn't know, but I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Everybody say, okay. Everybody will say, hey, fix your credit. Don't mess your credit up. Everybody say that. When it comes to finances, to the younger self, to younger me, I would definitely say, utilize your money to the best of your ability. Don't go spending. And it sounds cliche. You know, you have fun. Go. And we're in school. We see these things. Everybody. We're in the hot boy. No, that's a little bit further. In the Jay Z era.
Yeah.
The Jay Z era. And we music videos, popping bottles. So we want to do that. We're broke. We're really broke, and we're broke college students. You know, so why do we need to pop bottles? Why do we need to, do these other things? Live inside your
means.
Live inside your means as a college student.
Yep.
I had no business buying Gucci shoes in college.
Dummy.
Had no business. had no business buying Louis bags in college. Why am I buying that?
Because you thought it made you look a certain way.
Why?
Hey, you live and you learn, man.
You know what I'm saying?
You live and you learn.
To this day, I don't know where that that Louis bag is at. To this day, don't know where it's at.
Facts.
Can I afford another one now? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Could I afford it then? Absolutely not.
I remember getting them Pell Grant checks back in college, and I was getting them. Boy, I would just go buy shoes, clothes.
Yeah, man.
Look, and then student athletes, we would get reimbursed for I think it was up to $800. So I would go get stuff, and then I would get reimbursed, and then I would spend the reimbursement on more stuff, just stuff that I ain't got no more. It's it wasn't even.
Yeah.
I could have
invested. They was breaking y'all off like that. That's crazy.
Yo, that was the NCAA.
Be very meticulous about about my money, and just teach the importance of money. I'm not gonna say be cheap, but be very strategic about what it is that you
Facts.
because a lot of this money can we get it back?
And can I just add this little nugget on Seti? Me and you talk about this all the time, and I'm happy to put it here in this space on this podcast if people see it.
Yeah.
One thing that me and Seti always talk about is that the way that business works and consumerism works, they've sort of tricked people into believing that your worth is what you can buy, what you can attain.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, that's smart because I'm selling stuff.
Yeah.
So, you know what I mean? That makes sense. Like you ain't this until you got the Gucci belt. You ain't this till you. That's what I'm supposed to tell you because I want you to buy what I want you to buy.
Mm-hmm.
But me and Seti always had this saying where it's we don't judge people based off of what you get, what you have obtained. We try to judge men and women off of what you give. What are you giving to your family? What are you giving to your community? What are you giving to yourself?
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that's just a perspective shift that we as a community, as a culture, need to really hone into. And I think that'll help to offset some of those feelings. Because I think it all comes down to self-worth, right? It's I got to buy this because that's what makes me pop in. If I have this on, or if I have this car, or if I get this wife, or if I have this house, whatever the case may be, you're tying your worth to what you can obtain as opposed to saying, nah, I'm really him because I gave this much to my community. I really put this much into my kids and into my relationship with my wife. And I put this much into my church. I put this much into my business. It's what's pouring out of you. I think that is worth and your value as opposed to what you are trying to extract out of the world. And so I think that's just a perspective shift that, it's dope. You see that.
And that, folks, is what Artisan is all about.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
If you didn't know,
plug it in.
What Artisan was about, you heard it from yourself. And why I love having these conversations, love to be a part of something bigger than oneself. That just snippet, I knew where he was going with it. We, like you said, we talk about it so much, but even just then, it gave me chills just to hear it from the man, the myth, the legend himself.
Cool J.
Worker bee, man.
Cool J, man.
I'm alive with the CEO of Gentleman's Guide, the CEO of Artisan, man. It was a pleasure.
Yeah, appreciate you, man.
Yeah, man. This is such a dope conversation, man.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of Artisan, I don't know if you want to say anything. What do we have coming up next? Where do you see things? How do you you want to tell the people anything?
like I said, man, I don't want to sell any products, man. I just want to say we doing our best to add value where we can. We definitely gonna do a business expo soon, just to get some people together, get the community together, and let people showcase their art, their business. That's gonna happen. We just got to get some money. We got to
Right.
get some time. We got family men on the line, so. But we're definitely gonna figure that out, and we're gonna put the work in. We're gonna get it done. So
Facts.
that's it, man.
That's what's up, bro.
Yes, sir.
Hey, man, it was a fire conversation. I enjoyed it, every bit of it. We touched on so many good points. Hopefully, something that we said touched y'all, whoever's listening and watching. Young brothers, young cats out there who want to know more, and we don't know it all. We say this all. We don't know it all, but we know a little. We've lived a little bit, and we know a little bit, and whatever we know, we trying to set you up where you can learn things that we
don't have to go through.
We ain't got to. Yeah, you ain't got to go through what we went through. So that's the idea of it, man. That's the whole gist of it. So I appreciate y'all watching, listening, like, subscribe, share. Gentleman's Guide. See y'all next time. Peace.
Yes, appreciate y'all, fellas.
Peace.